Legacy of Destruction. How much does it actually change the metagame? Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. We're here to answer the question today based on Kong's cards, how much the meta changes out here post Legacy of Destruction. Now, we do have Legacy of Destruction legal using current TCG ban list, and we left Ritual Beast and some of the Infernoid stuff loose just to kind of see if they can make a splash in the meta. Your top 16 was 7 Fire King variants. Take a moment to process how much that actually is here, because even with Legacy legal, even with people trying to challenge the meta, you did not have a crazy turnover with that. Now, interestingly enough, we had 2 Tenpai Dragon decks showcasing that they can overcome a lot of the crazy hurdles that are present here. We also had 2 Snake Eyes variations. I can't even classify these as pure Snake Eye because one is Snake Eyes Infernoid and the other is this Snake Eyes Centurion pile. And you're probably like, what in the world? You'll get the chance to see them here in a second, but like, it's pretty crazy. Your other rogue picks here, we had Branded Despia. I feel like that deck's always going to be here. We have Rescue Ace. Yubel had a fantastic showing, even if it only had 1 in top 16. Rescue Ace. We also had Rika, a Romage. That's not something that I necessarily expected to see, but plants typically can do something when given the chance, and I feel like this was a generically good showcasing of, you know, the Aromage stuff being able to kind of interact and allow plants to succeed. And we also had a super heavy Samurai Duelist stepping on into the arena as well. So your top 16 looks very, very strong in my personal opinion. Now top 8's a completely different story. We had 3 Fire Kings. That's right, the massive destruction of your Fire King population shifting through top 8 is actually kind of insane. We also had 2 Tenpai Dragon decks entering into the arena here, and Tenpai Dragon actually ended up winning this event. Ignorant Dragon Turbo showcased that it is able to plow through these insane boards, not give any crap about anything that the opponent is really doing, and is able to set up this like super insane field. Like, good stuff. We also had our Infernoid Snake Eyes deck, and this is like a splash of 2 Infernoid cards, by the way, in the main deck. And then we had Yubel. Yes, Yubel managed to climb up the ranks here and sit at the rogue table, and Duels just had a hard time trying to play against it. And our Rika Romage player also managed to make it to top 8 as well. Absolutely amazing. Let's pass on over to those deck lists. Winning our event here is Tenpai Dragons, and you know, it's genuinely really cool to see that the Going Second Ignorant Dragon deck can actually do things. Like, you have Regekis in here, you have Droplets for board breaking, you also play the Change of Heart so you can toggle for it off of thrust. Like, the disgusting things that this build could do is pretty impressive. Also, you know, siding in the random Necrovel, you also have the super polymerizations in here. You have so much gas in a deck like this to be able just to play through boards. It's genuinely crazy. So no wonder why this won. Second place out here is your more standard Snake Eyes approach to things, sporting off the magical Spring of draw a lot of cards. And there's a reason why that this card is as crazy good as it actually is. You also have the Soul Releases in here as well to kind of punish your Fire King matchups. This Duelist overcoming so many hurdles out here to become the 2nd place Duelist, but just proves that, you know, the Fire King engine can grind the matchups. Next up is this little Splash Infernoid build in here, playing the Dankatron, the Deviati, and we're sporting off the Infernoid Flood in here. Now, being able to actually see this, guess what? You can make it because of Dankatron here. Dankatron can also drop Deviati, which turns this thing into a lot more of a monster than you initially, you know, thought. But Flood gets you the ability to negate summons, and that's actually kind of crazy. No deck should be able to have this much power. Our 4th place, actually losing the 3rd, 4th playoff, is actually Yubel. This deck was able to come very far today because of Nightmare Throne. Nightmare Throne is a fantastic card. Like, this card gives Yubel so many potential power abuses. It also gives you the ability to toggle up into the Terror Incarnate and actually use this as a stepping stone for link plays, especially, you know, when you're getting into things like the News Reporter, the Super Producer, and even the Unchained Soul Lord of Yama in here. Very, very interesting to see. Next up here, we have basic Fire King good stuff. Sporting off the crossout detonators in the deck, you want to make sure that, you know, you're able to make sure you can play the game. You also have the power of Delta. Man, they didn't even straight play a singular Gamma. They just dedicated the full slots to the Deltas, and they were like, you know what? This is actually going to work out in our favor. So kind of crazy, actually, to see that much power. All right. Oh, hey, look, another Tenpai Dragon deck. Now, this one was very, very cheesy. This chose to play Impulse with the Fire Attacker, and we're also playing Burning Draw. If your opponent controls more cards you do, target a link monster your opponent controls, draw cards equal to its link rating. You'll activate one of these per turn. You cannot normal summon or special summon monsters turn you activate this except for fire. Oh, that's broken. You also see the Heat Wave in here as well. This deck actually is amazing. I like this. We also have, oh wow, the Aromatherapy Sun Avalon pile of plants made it into top 8, which I was very impressed and happy to see that this deck was able to overcome a lot of the meta. Like, once you can go like into Balancer and a lot of the starts hitting on Sheet and Con interactions with Glamour, you can start to see why this deck can do well. You win enough dice rolls, you'll be able to grind out a majority of your meta. And your last top 8 deck here is more Fire Kings. Oh man. This build actually sported off a Snatch Steal, which is kind of cool. I mean, being able to interactively steal something from the opponent, especially, you know, those Amber Whale draws out here. Hey, you take their Amber Whale, you don't have to worry about a Promethean Princess popping out to at least pop with this. If they have something else on the other hand, well, that's another story, you know what I mean? But your top 8 was very, very strong for this event. I definitely liked a lot of the meta. Now, 9th place. It had to be fire, right? Now, this build is actually main decking Skyburn, which is kind of interesting. You know, in terms of your tech choices, I mean, this can help you out, being able to clear off some pesky fields. And this build also chose to play Birch. Birch still being one of those little nice gas cards for this. And then, of course, hey, look, Phantasmes. And this build also chose to play Dimensional Barriers as well. I'm not exactly sure they were worried about needing to play that, but okay. We also have more Fire King. This build actually chose to play Rangbali, and you don't see a lot of Rangbali. This build also is playing the Diablaze in here. This is the little stupid interaction with the set cards. Also see we played a Horus package in here. And we also played the Echelon of the Fire Kings. They were trying to get very spicy with the tech choices that I think that this build was trying to do. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, you know. You just got to understand that maybe your option trees aren't going to work out too well. Next up here, more Fire King. Now this is interesting. They chose to play a Doomsday Star on the side. You do see the Snake Eyes Diabell Star, Super Pobbler as I've been calling it. This card's actually pretty cool. This build also chose to play a Harpy's Featherstorm in here so that you can Fucho your opponent with it, and then you can kind of turn skip on back to your turn, which means we can thrust on into this and be able to punish our opponent. You know, this is just a case of Yu-Gi-Oh! Next up here, we have more Fire Kings. Hello, Circle of the Fire King. You have your triple crossout designator, so you can make sure that you can do your thing. We also do side the Temple. That's very interesting. We also side the copy of the Skyburn in here as well. So this build looks like it's attempting to cover as many crazy bases as it actually can. Supporting off 43 cards, by the way. That's very interesting. A little bit different than I initially expected to see, but okay. Next up here we have Fallen of Albaz good stuff. Hello, Gimmick Puppet. Hello, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon Machine. I have the triple Super Poly on the main. We are playing the triple Nadir Servant, so you can fling things at your opponent. That means we get access to Maximus interactions. Side decking, we have double Pankratops, you have the Soul Release in here, you have double Thrust. You do play the one different dimension ground, so you can actually blank the turn and be able to get things back to you. Yeah, also 42 cards is absolutely fine. Next up here we have Rescue Ace. Okay. Sporting off a Birch. We're just mainly playing this just for the, if you control a fire, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's it. And then, of course, we play the one Pobbler Machine. Actually, are playing the triple Super Poly. And this build is playing triple Delta with one Gamma. Holy crap, we were fully committed. You also see the crossouts in here, and we are playing one copy of the subversion Snake Eye as well, just to make sure that, you know, you can punish your opponent with the good value of crystallizing things. Alright. This is the Centurion Snake Eyes deck. You know, this is what's so crazy about this is you're like, okay, so Bonfire is just a natural help, so we can actually search for Tridea in here. But you're also playing a Snake Eyes package in here, so you can spin around the world a lot easier. Also, Mr. Packbit in here actually showcasing some actual value. And of course, yeah, still playing the King Calamity Turbo. But this build also is able to now link climb because of Ambler Whale and the Promethean Princess interactions. It's kind of cool. And our last list here is Super Heavy Samurai. How many hand traps can you put into the deck and be able to still combo with basic scales? And of course, Denko Rekka's in the side. You do see deltas yet again. Delta is exploding in value right now in this format. Like, this format is hyper evolving very quickly, and Delta is one of those cards to help you out along the way. Also, Double Driver is freaking hilarious. So what do you guys think about the breakdown for this event? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.